What's up, everybody? I recently started watching the show Whale Wars, and I just saw the latest episode last night, and I'm just amazed at how incompetent these people are. I had high hopes for this show. I mean, it's about these protesters. They're going and stopping these Japanese whalers, you know, and it's supposed to be all about their fights between the whalers and this and that. And the last two episodes have just been like, especially the last one I just watched. I feel like I'm watching a comedy, like a National Lampoon's Whale Wars. For those of you who haven't watched it, this video might not make complete sense because I'm sure I'm not going to explain it in full enough detail. But basically, well, let's see. The first episode I saw, they have three boats, two big boats called the Bob Barker and the Steve Irwin. Bob Barker actually bought the boat for them. The game show host, he actually bought the Bob Barker for them. Um, so the Bob Barker and the Audie Gill, that was a speedboat. They were messing with this one boat of Japanese whalers and throwing stuff on their deck and shit. And basically, the Japanese boat ends up hitting the Audie Gill and sinking it. So, okay, that was the first episode I saw, and it was pretty entertaining. And I was watching it, and I was kind of thinking, I couldn't really tell who was at fault for the accident, so I'm not even going to try to speculate on that. To me, it seems like if you're in that tiny of a boat, you shouldn't get anywhere near such a huge boat that could obviously, like, hit you, especially in an unstable ocean. It's like it's not that easy just to steer out of the way if you get right in their path. But I couldn't necessarily see like who was at fault in that accident. But the next episode, um, in the Bob Barker, their fresh water supply springs a leak during the night, and they wake up in the morning, and the narrator's like, while everyone was sleeping, the fresh water supply sprung a leak. And I was thinking, here's a boat with a crew of like 20 some people, I think. There's like a lot of people on this boat. Every single person sleeps at the same time. Nobody's on the night shift. I mean, here they are in the middle of the ocean fighting with these Japanese crews here. And and they all sleep at the same time, leaving themselves completely vulnerable not only to the whalers that could wish them harm, but also to things like springing a leak that nobody caught because everyone is sleeping at the same time, at least according to what the narrator said on the show. And um, I just thought that was incredibly stupid that they were all sleeping at the same time. And I can understand having a leak or something. I mean, shit breaks, but somebody should have been awake to catch that. So anyway, they have that problem. Their helicopter breaks on the other boat, but that's really nobody's fault. Anyway, there's like setback after setback, and the whaling's going on this whole time, and like there's no fighting between them and the Japanese since they sunk their boat. Now they're all just kind of retreating and having all this like crap happen to them. So this last episode, they check the oil in the boat. Like the main mechanic checks the oil in the Bob Barker, and it's nearly out of oil. And apparently the guy didn't realize that the boat was burning like twice as much oil as they thought it was. Apparently he didn't realize this till it's nearly out of oil. So once again they have to turn back. Plus the people that were on the Audie Gill, the boat that sank, wanted to go home too because they were planning on going home. So there's all this drama and shit, you know, drama between the crew members of the and the protesters, but no drama between them and the whalers. This whole last episode, I didn't even see one whaler or one fight between them and the Japanese whalers. It was all shit between the protesters and all their stupid mistakes, which I haven't even mentioned the stupidest stuff yet. Hold on while I get some Rocky Mountain refreshment here. I'm on a roll. I start talking fast. My throat gets all. Anyway, where was I? They sank the boat. People were fighting. Oh yeah. So anyway, they have to meet up. The Bob Barker has to meet up with the Steve Irwin. I think I already explained those are the name of the boats. I made this video like 20 times, so those are the name of the boats. Anyway, they meet up and the Steve Irwin brings them oil and water and shit. And in the meantime, the Bob Barker, remember they already sank one boat, and all they have left now are these two little speed boats. These two like boats that they can like drop on the side of the water, you know, on the side of the bigger boat, and like they're like these little rafts that you can fit like 4 people in. Excuse me. And so they drop these in the water while they're refueling, and everybody's up on the boat, like hugging and crying and like, oh, you know, carrying on. Meanwhile, nobody bothers to tie up the boats or the little boats correctly. They just tie one boat to the other boat and then have one line connected to the big boat. So they're all, it's just kind of like trailing. Like they should have connected each boat to the main boat individually, probably twice or something. I don't know how they're supposed to do it, but they didn't do it right. So basically a storm comes, and then it's like they all duck in, and the little boat, like the one on the end, you know, that was only connected to the other boat, just trailing behind, it like floats away during the storm. The other boat gets fucking like drowned and almost sank, so they have to go and scoop all the water out of that. After the storm, like subsides or whatever, subsides, is that a word? Subsides? After the storm goes away, I can usually edit these videos so I don't sound like such an idiot. You guys know what to expect, you know. After the storm, they jump into one boat that's still tied up to the Bob Barker, scoop all the water out of it, and go in search of the other boat. They finally find it, and it's like all beached up on these rocks and shit. So instead of just tying a rope to it and towing it off of the rocks, the idiot jumps in the boat, puts down the overboard motor, or not the overboard, whatever it's called. I can't think right now. My mind's drawn. The outboard motor. He puts it down, puts the propeller into the rocks and shit, and starts spinning it. And of course, it's like, I mean, anyone with common sense knows you don't fucking do that. But to make it worse, like the other guy with him was yelling, hey, don't do that. You're going to break the propeller. So what does he do? He puts the propeller in and he's like, starts trying to drive out of the rocks and basically wrecks the whole motor, breaks the propeller so bad that they can't even like, when they bring it back, it's so fucked up, they can't even like just simply replace it because it's so messed up. He just totally jacks up the engine of the boat. So, I mean, why did he do that? You don't put down propeller when you're beached. When the water's shallow, when you're on rocks, anyone knows that. I mean, I have boating experience. I've driven a boat before. But even if I haven't, I mean, I would know better. And these guys are out in the middle of the ocean, and they're supposed to be these professional, like, protesters or pirates and shit. And they're like, and I've just watched them all sleep at the same time and let a big leak happen. The mechanic fucks up and forgets the oil. And then they don't tie up their boats right. They let one get away. And then they can't even, and then they like end up wrecking the boat. This is like a bad like comedy about whale protesters, you know? Like Will Ferrell should be in a movie about whale wars or something. Anyway, it's just pathetic. It's just pathetic. And the promos are good for the show, and I'm totally down for their cause. I agree with what they're trying to do. I think whaling is bad. But God, could they be any more incompetent? Anyway, that's my rant. If I keep talking, I'm just going to keep repeating myself about what incompetent boobs these guys are. I saw the South Park about them, and I thought it was just another, South Park exaggeration or whatever, trying to make a joke about something. But these guys are pretty spot on. These guys, these whale protesters really need to get their shit together. Anyway, that's it. Have a good one, everybody.